Hello, my dears. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, joining you with Chronic Wellness. I am irate. I am livid. I am recording this today in the center of rage. I go to an infusion clinic pretty regularly to get rituximab, Rituxan, the chemotherapy agent that beats down my immune system so that I am not so virulently fighting my own body. So as a person with autoimmune diseases, when your body fights itself, we have to find ways to suppress or tamp down our own immune system so that we stop the process of eroding and inflaming our joints, turning our connective tissue into scar tissue, in my case, wasting the muscle right off my bones. And so I do that with a couple of different oral meds as well as with infusing meds. And I often go to the infusion clinic additionally to get hydration because I am so often in a state of diarrhea and not being able to keep fluids on board. I have to go get hydration that way. So I have recently learned that of the 4 full-time personnel in my infusion clinic, none of them are vaccinated. And I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around that. I have 17% of my lung function. That is measured every time I go to Seattle through pulmonary function tests, including lung volume, lung capacity, diffusing capacity, which is how you turn the oxygen that you get by inhaling into oxygen that goes into your bloodstream, and then conversely by how well you process out the carbon dioxide that you make as a byproduct of breathing. And so for me, this is a really high stakes thing. We know that my drug limits the effectiveness of any vaccines in my body by close to half. So any prophylaxis that I have from any vaccines that I take, coronavirus, pneumonia, flu, is truncated, is limited by the fact that we're killing my immune system. And so the ability to replicate the material in those vaccines, the serology of those vaccines, is limited. And so for me to get a respiratory virus like SARS-2, which is the COVID virus, would be a death sentence. And it feels as though I'm having to decide between going in for what for me is between a 7 and 9 hour infusion of my medicine, which is saving my life, right? I'm having to decide between doing that and potentially risking my life in order to do that. And in addition to the nurses and staff in that room not being vaccinated, they also do not wear N95 masks that seal, nor are they getting COVID tested. And so even in the ways that I could be protected, aside from being vaccinated, they're not taking those steps or precautions. And I I'm having a hard time understanding why. I'm having a hard time not just approaching them in my outrage. I am feeling so despondent about my powerlessness in this situation. And simultaneously, I get that I have to either decide to proceed, or I have to decide to fight, or I have to decide to change doctors and clinics. And none of those feel like good options. With energy and time being so limited and so precious in our worlds, and with these illnesses, to have to spend it fighting like this is inconceivable. And I've spent 12 years with this doctor, developing a relationship and learning about my disease with him. I am the only one with my disease in his practice. It would be wonderful to imagine I could find another doctor who knew more about this disease, but I would probably have to travel to Portland, which is 2 hours away, in order to do that. And I'm not up for that right now. I already have part of my team in Seattle, which is 5 hours away, and it's too much. And because of our laws in Oregon, it is illegal for healthcare to require their personnel to get vaccinated. And so there's no guarantee that anywhere I would go would have vaccinated nurses. I'm bewildered, folks, and feeling lost, hopeless, frustrated. I am losing sleep and really pretty stumped about this. I have people who are ready to join me in a letter writing campaign, and I don't know if that's the direction to go. I don't know if these are the enemies I'm prepared to make just yet. Got any wisdom? Got any advice for this soul seeking buoyancy and feeling pretty sunk right now about how to manage this? Thank you for spending these minutes listening. And if you have any words of advice or commiseration or ideas or suggestions, I am here waiting to receive. I love you. I thank you. And I hope that you are feeling cared for and safe where you are being treated. Till we're together again. Be well.